Hello, everybody. How are you? All right, let me just make sure we have this. Here we go. Close. Everyone's in here. Let's see. Oh, good. Andy's in. Okay. I don't know who else needs the link, but I just put it into our group chat. And let me put it in here as well. Let's see. Startup. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Go. All right, there we go. So, and then here we are. One more spot. Okay. All right, we're live. So, we're on to chapter 4. Where's the book? We're on to chapter 4 in this book, Launch. For those of you who did not see my notes, I will bring them up right now. Okay. So, in short, some of you sent your questions in already. So what I'll do is I'll quickly give you my notes from the chapter, and then I'll go through the questions you guys had. If you want to ask specific questions of specific chapters, as I go through it, feel free to stop me. Otherwise, those of you who sent your questions in that kind of applied to the whole section of 3 chapters, we will look at those after we discuss the 3 chapters. So first, chapter 4. Okay, I was a little bit annoyed with this chapter because he calls it the sideways sales letter, which is not at all what it's called. And okay, if you have entrepreneurs reading this and then they're trying to hire a marketer to do things for them, this is why marketing gets a bad rap, because a founder doesn't know what they need in proper marketing terms, so they don't know what to ask for. So they ask for the wrong thing, and then they get the wrong thing. And it's like, oh my God. Okay, so chapter 4, he calls it a sideways sales letter. It's not. It's a lead nurturing sequence. So if you are thinking about hiring a marketer to do this for you, what you're looking to have them do is not create a sideways sales letter. They'll look at you like you have 3 heads. You are looking for them to create a lead nurturing campaign for you, which is basically a series of emails that convince people to buy something by slowly showing them different benefits. Okay. Next, here are my notes from chapter 4. In the link. So the first thing was it's a lead nurturing sequence. Next, he doesn't actually give us a lot of context in chapter 4 on how to do this. So, but he shows you that someone did it and they made a ton of money. It's like, okay, cool. But after you show me someone did it and they made a ton of money, you're supposed to show me how to do it. Like, that's the whole point of getting paying for someone's playbook, is to learn how to do the things. So what what I would do here, if you're new to marketing and you're wanting to implement what's in chapter 4, is you're going to create sort of a hybrid, a combination of a few different middle of funnel marketing projects. You're going to take a 3 to 5 day welcome series, combine that with a webinar, a 3 to 5 day challenge, and a mini course funnel. So if you have worked in marketing, you know exactly how all those fit together. If you are new to marketing and you don't know how those fit together, I explained to you how to fit those together with minimal marketing experience in order to still get sales. I would not do a webinar funnel if you're brand new to marketing and sales, because those rely on very strong, subtle sales skills that a lot of first time founders don't have. If you were a sales savant and guru at your last company or whichever company you're working at now, you could probably use the webinar funnel and crush it. But if you're watching these marketers who are like, oh, the webinar funnel is where it's at, and you don't have the greatest sales skills, like you can't even convince your aunt to change from ordering Chinese food from this place to that place. Like if you don't have those persuasion skills, do not start with a webinar funnel. You'll use a 5-day challenge, and in the 5-day challenge, you'll give people a few different resources to develop trust with them over the course of 5 days. And on day 5, you'll sell them whatever your offer is by making your offer the next obvious step. Okay. Any questions about chapter 4 before we move on to chapter 5? While you ask them, I'm going to clean my glasses because I can't see. No, I can. There's so much dust. I have no idea how. Oh, the makeup. Okay, there's makeup on my glasses. All right. So I don't see any questions. Oh, sorry. Okay, for those of you who are new, you cannot put anything into the YouTube chat until you've been a subscriber for at least 5 minutes. The reason we do this is that it prevents trolls and spamming. So you have to subscribe to the channel, and then this YouTube timer will go off. It's not something I control. It's automatic on their end. And after 5 minutes, you'll be able to ask questions in there. Okay. If not, you can also, if you're part of the Molo9 community, you can ask questions in our startup book club in Telegram. And I have Telegram on my phone. There we go. There we go. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So no questions on chapter 4? Awesome. All right. So let's go to chapter 5. Chapter 5, he gets into one of my favorite topics, which is neuromarketing. He has an interesting way of looking at it. If you have the Molo9 marketing brain, you have access to what I call them silver bullets. Silver bullets are easier for new marketers to understand than neuromarketing. Neuromarketing usually scares people, but it's the proper academic term is neuromarketing. We call it silver bullets. Also because silver bullets are something that, like, when you talk to CEOs and they're like, oh, I need a silver bullet, you're like, I got you. When you say, oh, I have some great neuromarketing tactics, their eyes glaze over. So that's why we call them silver bullets, layman's terms, but it's neuromarketing. So in the Molo9 marketing brain, you have access to 48 different psychological triggers. In chapter 5, he only covers a handful. Let me just give you guys the link to where you see okay. This is where you see your silver bullets or your neuromarketing tactics in the Molo9 marketing brain. Some of you are just course people. You don't have the Molo9 marketing brain. So if you got the whole toolkit of like all 5, the entire toolkit, then the list of neuromarketing tactics that I use are here. They're also called psychological principles of influence. So if you have the first, if you have access to the marketing brain, that first link is for you. If you bought the entire startup marketing toolkit, that second link is for you. Those will show you well, all the effective neuromarketing techniques. There are some neuromarketing tactics out there that people are like, oh, you have to use this. I've never seen it perform, so I don't put it on the list. Because you're trusting me to filter out the garbage and give you good information, not just show you about like thousands of words that are pointless. Okay, so let's look at what he has. Trust and social proof. This should be really obvious. If someone doesn't trust you and they don't see that others are trusting you, then they're not going to they're not going to buy from you. Like they have to know you, they have to like you, they have to trust you, and then they'll buy from you. The way that you can establish trust with strangers online is through social proof. So let's see where the link is for this. I believe I put it in the first toolkit you get in the entire entire startup marketing toolkit, the proven path to profit. If you followed that entire playbook, like went through everything, then you establish trust with your target market. If you did not, this is the checklist of things that you need to add to your website. And then you should also do this, and you just follow those two like guides and you will establish trust. It's establishing trust among humans in society is a math equation. It is not black magic. It's math. This is why I'm careful about who I share Molo9 with, because I hope people are using this for good and not for evil. But there is a mathematical formula to building trust with people, and I hope that you use this for good and to bring better things to the world, please, for the sake of the rest of us, because when someone horrible learns how to establish trust with the masses, bad things happen. Oh, gosh. Sorry. So, doing great. Thanks, Andy. Okay, so let's see. Authority. Oh, the next thing you need to do is say why you're an authority on the topic. This is something I find is really interesting. A lot of people I work with who are like total geniuses, who kind of their startup doesn't do well, it's because they don't realize that they have authority on the topic, or that they have authority in comparison to those who are trusting to purchase from them. So here's an example. I met with okay, I'm a huge advocate of meeting with young aspiring leaders, because if you help them, then one day they'll be your ally. If you don't, you're creating a future enemy. If they fail, well, okay, but if they succeed, you've just gained another ally. And you can never have too many, because there are a lot of dark people. You want to mentor next generation, whatever. So obviously I'm here with you guys, teaching you how to hopefully be the best versions of yourself as startup founders. Anyways, so with authority, there was a young couple, they were starting to get into commercial real estate investing. And the one woman said, but I've achieved nothing in my career. And I was like, that's not true. Tell me what you've done. Long story short, she didn't realize that the things she had achieved were impressive, because to her it was something that she did easily. So she didn't realize that that made her a trustworthy authority figure. She had she managed the account payables for 300 different hospitals. What that means is that she had a lot of financial experience, and you could trust her. If you invested with her, you knew the money wouldn't disappear. She wouldn't accidentally pay the wrong person. And she didn't realize like how big of a value bomb that would be to investors looking to invest in a new startup. So chances are, if you're like, I don't have authority yet, chances are you do. You just don't realize it. You don't realize what you have in your pocket or what story you have that'll make people build trust with you. Um, okay, next, reciprocity. Okay, Walker has a really weird way of looking at this. I'm not gonna lie. Like, okay, I have, you guys know at this point, I have a love-hate relationship with this book. We're reading it because like way too many people said this is the startup book we have to read. It is a great foundation for us like having these conversations, and it's a great framework for us to build these conversations about your startup upon. But oh my god, what he said about reciprocity, I put it up there with like what he said about sideways sales letter. I'm just like, you've got to be joking. Like, you've got to be joking. So um he's there's a way to use reciprocity in marketing, and what he tells you in his book is not it. There is a book called Influence by Robert Cialdini, and in his book he tells you exactly how the best marketers and salespeople use reciprocity. That's the playbook you want to follow if you are going to use reciprocity to close more sales. You do not follow what he says is reciprocal marketing. This is a startup book where they talk about some marketing things, but he has no he's not talking about it like he needed a marketer to co-author it with him to be like, dude, that's not what that is. Um yeah. So the book Influence. Next, anticipation. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. Showstopper huge. So with anticipation, this is just the term that he gives to getting buyers excited to buy using a hype campaign or beta launch. Now, um, some people are like, oh, launches are dead, they're outdated, they don't work. It's because they did something wrong. They left out the secret sauce, they left out the main ingredient, they tried to cook without a stove. Um, there are like a launch or a hype campaign is the most powerful, one of the most powerful marketing strategies to this day. And if you don't believe me, I want you to look at Apple. I want you to look at Tesla. I want you to look at the top companies and what they do when they have a new product coming out. Because guess what? They do a launch campaign. They get you excited. What does Hollywood do when they have a new movie or TV show coming out? They put together a hype campaign that gets you excited. They build anticipation, they build excitement, they build they which anticipation releases dopamine in your brain. Dopamine is a super powerful neurochemical. Marketers need it in order to drive sales. We absolutely depend on it to drive sales. So with a launch campaign or a hype campaign, a beta launch, you're getting your buyers to release dopamine because they're not just going, clicking, buying, and done. They're painting in their minds a future which can only exist after they buy your product. So that's why when someone says like launches are dead or launches don't work, that's not accurate. So long as dopamine is something we release in our brains forever, um, it launches and hype campaigns will continue to be a super potent marketing strategy. Okay. Um, how can you use launching if you're an existing brand? What you do is you launch something new or you launch a revised version. Many of you know I've been hired to write a book, and some of the projects in the book was like, after about 200 people implement this project, it will start to lose efficacy. And they were like, how many companies have to implement that project before it'll stop working completely? I was like, oh, I don't know, several thousand. They're like, okay, so after 2 years, you'll release another edition of the book, and you'll just keep releasing more and more editions of the book. So if colleges can do it with textbooks, if professional guides can have new editions coming out every year, every 2 years, if Apple can have new products coming out and and a launch party every single time there's something new, you can too. Okay. There's two more tactics he looks at that I think we should discuss. One is community. That is really hard to build. I will tell you. Um, if you do not use very specific neurobiological triggers, people will default to killing each other. Not physically, it could be metaphorically, but I cannot tell you how many times I've had to come in to a company and they're like, our marketers aren't collaborating, they're killing each other, they're sabotaging each other's work. I'm paying them full time to basically fight like children on a playground. Their goal isn't big enough. The goal that they have for their company, Their incentives aren't aligned. So we give them bigger goals and we give them an incentive structure. They only get a bonus if they collaborate. That's in a company where we're paying the people in the community to coexist and we can't get them to get along. So where he's saying, oh, launch a community, it'll be great. Don't pause, think about it. This is something you really want to study. It is something that is high maintenance. It is something that like you cannot just impulsively do on a whim and expect it to go over well. You do have to mentor the people. You do have to help them to want to be the best versions of themselves. So I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, you see that a lot of my posts on Instagram are all about leaders create more leaders. True leaders, they empower others. There's no jealousy, there's no competition, there's just love. They have a deep love and satisfaction every time someone they mentored wins. I do all those posts, I have all those posts because I'm trying to help you guys understand this is the mindset you want to come into Molo9 with. And that's what we got. When I didn't in the beginning, I kind of just let the community go off. People were not collaborating, they were killing each other. And when I'd have groups of you on calls, no one wanted to admit what their question was in case the other person was their competitor. So it took a long time for us to figure out exactly how to change our messaging so that as soon as people enter the Molo9 community, they realize this is a place where you have to collaborate in order to get ahead, and you will not win unless you collaborate. And this is exactly how you collaborate to win. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on building a community? Because I know people think, oh, I'll just launch a Facebook group. And then everyone in the Facebook group is like ripping each other apart. And they're like, that did not work at all. All of my customers hate each other when you want all of your customers to actually love each other and get along. Any questions on that? Okay. So next is scarcity. All right. I'm going to stand up for a few minutes. All right, so scarcity. Oh, you can't. That's weird if my head's chopped off. Okay. So, is that better? Do you want to see my painting, or do you want to see Blake Lively? The painting. We'll go with the painting. No, we'll go with Blake Lively. She's an icon. Okay. Scarcity. So with scarcity, humans today are all wired with a subconscious strong desire to accumulate resources. The reason we are everyone on the planet is wired with this is because those who are not wired with that desire to accumulate resources died of starvation like thousands of years ago. So if you have the Molo9 marketing brain, here's a quick guide. Did I copy it? Yeah. Copy. This is a quick guide on exactly how to weave. Oh, then you see the door. Sorry. There you go. This is exactly how to weave scarcity and FOMO into your marketing material. Keep in mind that people are they're smart. Okay. So when you say, oh, I'm going to put a FOMO campaign in there, I'm going to tell them there's a limited amount of time in order to download this ebook, they're going to be like, why? Like you can just put the ebook back online at any time. So you can't say, oh, there's a limited number in stock if it's an electronic or digital thing. It has to be the price goes up in a certain amount of time or something like that. Okay. Oh, Rihanna. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. She just asked, what are some tactics you can do to create community where people contribute with harmony or engage? In all of your marketing material, you are going to talk about the fact that you have a harmonious and engaging and positive and collaborative community. You weave that expectation in from the beginning. That way, anyone who's wanting to like pick a fight or start a war, they're not going to want to go in there. But then those that are in there, this is a really interesting thing. Those that are in there to collaborate will very quickly identify those that are not, and they will avoid them. And the people who are not there to collaborate, the people who are there just there to like lie, cheat, and steal, they will find themselves like kind of flushed out by your community. You don't have to worry about that. They're just not going to fit in. They're not going to get reactions, and that's it. Um, but you do have to be intentional about putting that expectation into your marketing from the beginning. If you go through, let me find it. If you go through the Molo9 welcome new customers journey, actually it's only for app single people right now. I don't know how to trigger that automation another way. Oh wait, there's another nurturing journey. Okay. If you go through here, you will get a nurturing. Okay, so click there, click either marketer or startup founder. You will see the nurturing campaign sequence that we use. The biggest thing is you just want to, you have to make sure that you're very patient and intentional and kind when you're speaking within your community. So an example is when you're not the head of a community and someone does something that makes you really angry or really upset, you have time to process those emotions in private before you step out in public, and you have to be patient and kind in a community. Once you launch a community, you literally have to be taking bullets, and then you have to walk in and be patient and kind, and you have to like be able to compartmentalize that information. Like, so the other day something absolutely horrendous happened to one of my friends. I was like traumatized by it when she told me what happened. It was just, she reported it to the police, but it was a horrible experience. I was like, I have 20 minutes to mentally recover before I have to go and be this patient, kind leader. So that's the other thing with communities is you have to have your like mental health ready to be able to, no matter like what crap is thrown at you, be able to compartmentalize that and be there for your community as that supportive leader. You also, the interesting thing about a community is it will make you, I think it'll make you the best version of yourself because you constantly want to become the best version of yourself for those who are in your community, trusting you to guide them. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of self-work as well. Okay. Scarcity, I gave you the guide. Chapter 5, chapter 6. Okay, here are my notes for chapter 6. All right. Good to know. Yeah. You're welcome. Hope you could learn. Yeah, I had to learn that one the hard way. It was like, holy crap. But yeah. Okay, chapter 6, I feel like was really well written. I don't know if a marketer helped him with that chapter or if it was just jargon that he like felt like it was worth learning the marketing jargon that he used in that chapter. But I only have a few notes for that chapter. When he says, how can I stand out in a crowded market and be different? First, he tells you to do the opposite. First, he tells you to do the opposite of what other businesses are doing. And then, like, literally the next paragraph, 2 sentences later, he tells you do the same thing that they're doing, but a little different. Like if people are reading, this is an example of being a community leader. If people are taking everything you say as gospel, you can't contradict yourself, especially on the same page in the same, like in a 3-sentence span. They're going to be confused. That's going to break trust. It's going to break your authority. But so that I was just like, what is he doing? Why didn't his editor catch this? But anyways, so you don't want to do the opposite of what other businesses are doing. There's a really amazing book. It's called Steal Like an Artist. And in that book, what he says is that in that book, what he says is, what's it called? Oh, the greatest artists on earth didn't go in and try to copy another artist so that someone would say, oh, he's just like Van Gogh, or oh, he's just like Picasso. They would look at what all of the great artists did. So they'd study like 5, 10, 15, 20 different artists, and then they would go create their own art, and they would be called original because they took what they liked best from 20 different artists and made their own thing. You want to do the same thing in marketing. Marketing is a combination of art and science. So um, with that being a combination of art and science, you have to be the artist here. You have to go in, look at what all of the other artists, the marketers are doing, and then you have to combine that to make something that's remarkable for your company. The plus side there is, like, when you're trying to come up with your email lead nurturing campaign, go put your email into like 5 of your competitors, see what they're doing, and then you make your own emails. Russell Brunson, in one of his books or one of his webinars, he admitted that, like, there's this guy, he makes $3 million after one presentation. Like, he's insane. He's like literally a marketing gladiator, and he does this. So if he does this, you as junior marketers or people who are new to marketing could definitely use the same strategy. It's working for him. It works for everyone. So look at 5 businesses in your niche, or you look at businesses that are selling different things to that same group. Like, so for example, if you're selling Korean skincare, you could, sorry, I have to fix the AC. It's not, there we go. So if you're selling like Korean skincare, that's a famous one my friends love to talk about. You could look at the marketing material of people. Sorry, AC is fanning my computer. So you can look at the email campaigns of people who are selling something else to the same people who buy Korean skincare. So people, like the people who buy Korean skincare also buy those tools, that like the roller that massages, the ice thing that massages your forehead. They buy all those things. So look at what their email campaigns are. Like, they're selling to the same people. Obviously it's working, they're in business. What are they using in their marketing? Okay, next. Use a survey to find what your audience wants to buy. Oh, okay. He doesn't give you a clear playbook. He's like, I don't know what you should offer to your audience. I'm like, oh my God. I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm kidding. But I'm just like, this is why we have a book club, so that when he says you have to sell an offer to your audience, figure it out. It's like, no, you don't tell a bunch of new entrepreneurs to figure it out on their own. That is not going to end well. You have to give them the guide here. So he doesn't tell you how to figure out what your audience wants to buy. This survey does. This is the exact survey that I used when I was building Molo9, because let's see what happened. COVID hit, and one of my friends was the CEO of a company, and she said, look, we can't afford to hire you as a consultant, but I need your playbooks. What, like, can I just buy those? I was like, yeah, you know what? I think other people would probably also want to buy them. So I put out that survey, and then I sold the playbooks, which were the precursor to Molo9, to like a little over 300 people. And then all those people were asking questions about what they had to implement and what they could skip. And that's when I learned to code. And I got some of like the top computer programmers around the world to become my advisors for a revenue share. And we built the Molo9 marketing brain. So that's how I literally use people asking to buy something from me to build the reason we're all here today. That's the exact survey. Take that survey, you send it to your friends, family, post it on social media. You take the survey results in there. From what I remember, let's see, did I ask them what they'd be willing to pay for? I'm pretty sure I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay. Maybe there might be another, I guess I sent another survey in which I asked them, like, what would it be worth in order to have that problem solved for you? So that people understood, because there's this weird thing with startups, and it comes from the VC world. What happens is essentially, uh, because venture capitalists pour a bunch of money into startups, and then the startups turn around and give a bunch of free stuff in order to get emails and people to market to. People have this idea that as soon as there's a startup, they should be getting freebies, and that's not necessarily true if it's a bootstrap startup. So if you're starting your own startup, and you don't have a bunch of investors pouring money into it, you have to plant the idea in their mind that you're building a custom solution for them, but they have to pay for it. So you can use that with your quick survey, which you're linked to there. Okay, so you use the survey results. You take the respondents from the survey. Um, you identify your paying customers. You give them. You say, "Hey, I looked at your survey. I built this. I made these changes based on your feedback. Um, Here it is. Whenever you want to buy it, you can just click that button to buy it." After they make the purchase, whatever it is that you're selling, you offer them a freebie. So you offer them something additional in exchange for posting a review online. Then you take those reviews. You only need 3 reviews, only 3 happy reviews, and you have a company. You take 3 reviews, you post them to a landing page, and then you drive traffic to that landing page using customer testimonial or using podcasts, and things like that. So, and that's how your company launches to the public, with just one survey helping you find your offer, your earliest paying customers, your testimonials, and there you are. Okay, so there's 2 email templates that the author shares. In my book, they're on pages 86 and 87. Uh, I'm not sure where they'd be in your book, but they're toward the end of chapter 6, like a few pages from the end of chapter 6. Those are great examples to edit and adjust and send out in order to get people to fill in your survey. Okay, any questions on chapter 6? Otherwise, I'm going to read the questions that you guys. Oh yeah, okay, so Andy is sharing. We have the Telegram group as well. Let me post that link. Okay, the thing I didn't like about school is that they essentially own. When I looked at school a little while, like a couple months ago, um, I didn't like it because they owned the customers. Like, I didn't own my customers. I don't know if you noticed, like, we have a free community for Molo9 on Facebook, and I literally tell everyone in there, "Hey, I hate Facebook. Come to Telegram." Um, and like on Telegram, I can communicate with you guys, and you get the notifications. On Facebook, it's not. It's like lost somewhere. Um, with school, the minute you stop paying, the minute you lose access to that community. So, if you're a bootstrapped startup founder, and God forbid something happened and you can't pay for your subscription, you've just lost access to your entire community. So for bootstrap startups, I would say to start your groups places where you don't have to pay for them, just in case anything goes terribly wrong. Like, so a Facebook group is okay. Telegram's my favorite. You also have WhatsApp. Yeah, yeah. So Andy just said that's why when you join a school group, they always ask you to enter your email address. And if you don't enter your email address, they don't approve you. Correct. And I would not be surprised at all. The Hormozis are brilliant business people. I would not be surprised at all if we find out that they are using your data to target you with ads for some of their products online. Um, like, so they get your email, see which school groups you're interested in, and then they run specific ads to you. That actually, I would not be surprised at all if we found that out. Um, And he said, "This is one of the reasons I don't want to launch a community. It's high upkeeping." I agree completely. It is a lot of work. You do need help with it. And the people who say that they're community managers for hire are not always community managers for hire. The other thing you could do is you'll find like brand advocates who help to keep the community cohesive and collaborative. Um, but you do have to invest time in nurturing those relationships with those people. Okay, so let's see. The other thing I did with Molo9 for the community that I forgot about until now is, um, I did the marketing in a way that it would attract people that I like. So if you liked the Molo9 marketing, like all of the components I look for in friends, you possess them. So I use math, marketing, and science to filter out the global population, find people that I like talking to and like mentoring, and then I basically recruited them into the community to mentor them. So it's the people who are in Molo9 community, I genuinely like them. Like that's a huge, I think a huge thing that helps. Where is it? Hold on, there's a quote somewhere. Okay. Um, so if you hate the people that you're leading, then then it's not that you're a bad leader, it's that you put the wrong people on your team or in your community. If you genuinely love the people that you're working with, if you genuinely love your clients, if you genuinely love those in your community, that's a result of great marketing because you were able to figure out how to use marketing to attract people that you like to spend time with. So that's another thing with building a community. Okay, now Stuart McLaren once, Andy just sent in, Stuart McLaren once said, you need to find what you're passionate about. Yes, yeah. You need to find what you're passionate about. You need to find the types of people you like working with. Because there's some, you're not going to like, people are like, oh, I want everyone on the planet. I'm like, you don't even like everyone on the planet. You don't want everyone on the planet. You really don't. Some people are crazy. Some people are annoying. Some people are not old enough or young enough to buy your product. You don't want everyone. You want to find people that make you excited to show up and participate in the community. Okay, so here are the questions. Okay, A/B testing. Uh, can't know which audience is clicking. My idea is to show a lead magnet for the first time for the first group by default, and under the submit button, they can see a link. I already have experience doing this thing, which redirects to a different lead magnet. Implemented offer to target people that are already in this bucket. Okay, so the question basically is, goes back to, we were talking about squeeze pages last time. If you have a squeeze page that pushes one lead magnet, tells people, hey, this is the lead magnet. Do you want it? Yes or no? And then you have people who come there that may not want that lead magnet. They may want a different lead magnet. What you want to do in those instances is, so your squeeze page is something called middle of funnel marketing. There we go. Okay, so this is your marketing funnel. Purple is bottom of funnel. These are people who bought your product. They love your brand. Every time something comes out, they're the first ones to buy it and leave you a review. They love it. They share it with all their friends. This is where everyone wants to get to purple. Now you have pink. This is middle of funnel. This is where people who have heard of you or your brand or your solutions, they're contemplating if they're going to buy or not. By the time they get to be in the purple pink zone, they've purchased. The gold, orangish gold, this is the top of funnel. This is anyone that's ever seen a social media post, anything. So as they go through the funnel, like when they get to this part where they're at a squeeze page and they're deciding if they're, sorry, I'm blocking myself from the market. When they're at the squeeze page and they're deciding if they're going to download your lead magnet, which will encourage them to make a purchase, you want to have them going to the right squeeze page. If they're at the wrong squeeze page, then you did something wrong up here. So your posts on social media should drive them to the correct squeeze page. And if it's not, then you have a different post, which this brings us to our launch concept. So if you're like, okay, but I have two target markets that I want to go after, and they both are going to want different things to see different things before they buy the same product. That's why you have multiple launches. So you will launch to one target market. You will speak to one target market. You will get one target market excited. And then you will launch your product to them. And then the next month, you will take your product and you will launch it to a different target market. And you will get them excited. So with this whole the launch book where he's like, you can always be launching, and other people say you could always be launching, you could be launching the same exact product to different groups of people. All right. Next question. Okay. So some of Sabi Subri's squeeze pages have a nav bar and links. Um, all of them with a number, like 7 best ways to do this or that. How important are numbers? Numbers are really important. There are a lot of religions based on numerology. So, for example, I think it's in the Hindi religion, having a 1 at the end is the sign of like good luck and fortune. Like when we went with one of my friends to a holiday, he said, whatever gift you're bringing to the festival, you're supposed to make sure that you have 1. So I could bring like 11 oranges or 21 oranges or 31. And then in Judaism, we have the number 8 is completion. So, and the number 18 is life. So whenever you give a gift in the Jewish culture, it has to be a multiple of 18. So like for a bar mitzvah, you'd give someone a gift of $180 or $360. Um, so numerology is super important. Okay, so not everybody here knows Savvy Subri. Give me one second. There we go. So a book we're doing later in the book club is this one, Sell Like Crazy. And it's Sabri Subi. Okay. So in some of his books or in some of his landing pages, he has a nav bar at the top, and in others he doesn't. I would not, I think it really depends, like, but as a general rule of thumb, when you're starting out, I would not have the nav bar at the top. Okay, so the next question is, I do not, um, I do not know how to use urgency or testimonials for my product. That's not tailored to the lead magnet. How can I create urgency for an obviously easily copied guide or video? Okay, when you're creating urgency for something, usually it's like we're doing this now as a group. So for example, these live Q&As. People know that they can attend this live Q&A or they can watch the recording later. If they attend it, they can ask their questions and get them answered in real time. If not, they have to watch this entire 1 hour live Q&A to see if their question might have been answered. So with creating urgency for something digital, such as like a course or a webinar or whatnot, you can, the urgency could be time. It can be tied to a schedule. So look, we have a 5-day challenge. We're doing it right now, and then the material comes down. You can either participate in it now or miss out. With a micro course. Sorry. Oh, I have a grateful mug today. Someone that I really look up to and think is like one of the coolest people on the planet said that one of the projects I did was awesome, which people are like, who do you look up to? This person. And so I have my grateful mug because I was like beyond excited that she liked it. Anyways, okay. Sorry. So testimonials for my product. Your testimonials, this is a really big thing. Okay. I think I've already mentioned it. I was hired to write a marketing book. It teaches junior marketers how to become like top paid marketing consultants, like all those projects that top tier marketing consultants know how to create. It teaches junior marketers how to do that. So one of the projects in there that we teach junior marketers, a junior marketer will say, oh, it's a happy testimonial. Let's just slap it up there and we're done. A top tiered consultant who makes like thousands per hour for their insight will look through like 200 testimonials and say, give me these 3 on that website. And you'll see conversion skyrocket. And the difference is the testimonials they pick resonate with the people who are going to be viewing that landing page, and tell those people viewing that landing page exactly why your product is or service is the best. So, um, for example, like I had a testimonial that I put on the company that we do all the consulting through. It's MD9, like doctors of growing your company. Um, so one of the testimonials was like, a D Susan knows about growth hacks 12 to 18 months before they are featured in the best growth hacks to know. And so I would get calls and people were like, well, how do you know that? And I was like, well, because what I do is I create my own growth hacks and then my competitors stalk me and they reverse engineer them and then they write an article about it. So it's not that like I have a crystal ball, it's that I have fans like reverse engineering my strategies and then publishing them. So but that gets people excited because they're like, oh, she's going to create a growth hack before my competitors won't be able to copy it because she's creating it from scratch. So I'm using my degree in medicinal biological chemistry. I'm using my experience from working in my parents' companies growing up, starting at the age of 8. Yeah, I started attending board meetings when I was 8. um, and I'm combining all of that to create new marketing tactics and strategies. So you have to think like what gets people excited for what you've done or what you're offering. What is like something that makes it super valuable? Like, um, let me think. Andy's on here. Okay, Andy is creating a restaurant app. So a testimonial that he could have would be a restaurant owner saying um, something like, after adding Andy's software to our restaurant or integrating his software with our restaurant, our revenue increased by 20%. Our sales went up by 30,000 in 2 weeks, something like that. Then other restaurants would be like, that's insane. Okay, his software only costs like $2,000 to setup fee and $1,000 a month, and these people made $30,000 in 2 weeks. Like obviously the software pays for itself. So that's the type of testimonial you want to look for. Okay, you guys sent in a lot of questions. All right. Okay. If I advertise my lead magnet on social, why can't I just redirect them directly to the lead magnet that I promise and collect their email there? Oh, it feels like an extra step if I do a squeeze page and then the lead magnet. Okay, that's a good question. So that's essentially what you're doing with the squeeze page. You can try testing it where you have ads run and the ads run, people get to the page and it's like put in your email to get this lead magnet. You can do that. Sometimes you have to remind people why they want to put their email in because they'll see the lead magnet and be like, oh, like I don't want to put my email in. This person's going to send me 600 emails like the other people did. So they pull back. Something I've tried that's actually been fun and it got interesting results. I'd say, what did I do? I took a lead magnet and I broke it down. So people would get the first 2 pages of the lead magnet without putting their email in, and then they had to put their email in to get the rest of the lead magnet. Um, that what happened with that? Data load. 60% of the people who 60% of the traffic that looked at the first page of the lead magnet. So I embedded it into a web page so that would be easy to track the data. Make data tracking easy for yourself. There's so much of it, and you can only use it if it's easy to track. So 60% of the traffic that went to the first page went to the second page as well, and they could only access the second page if they got an email with the link to access the second page where the rest of the lead magnet was. With my lead magnets, I do not send them a PDF. I have the PDF embedded into the website. And the reason I do that is it improves your session time because people are spending time on your website reading the document. Okay, so you could do that. I would not just say like have them go to an ad that says, "Give me your email," because they'll usually get sticker shock and back up and be like, I don't want to do that. Okay. Now, what's the next one? What about consent to terms? Yeah. That's the other thing. You can have a little check mark by submitting you agree to the terms and conditions. You can also put a note underneath of the email, like in gray, small font that says, by putting in your email, you agree to our terms and conditions. How can I implement the launch strategy for an already existing business that is not innovative, like a bakery or online store? So for a bakery, what you would do, and this one's actually really fun. We've used this and it drives people crazy. You have a certain item that you put all over your marketing, and you only make a certain quantity of that item each day. The first people to get there are able to get that item, and no one else can. You want to sell out. You want to always sell out, because then there's one bakery that's gotten to the point where like people start lining up at 5 a.m. to be there 5:30 in the morning, so that they're there when the bakery opens at 6 a.m. to get the freshly made baked goods. And so there's like a crazy rush. That's how you do it with a bakery. And then an online clothing store. Oh, I've done that before. Okay. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I am a retired international model. I'm a third generation model. A lot of my family vacations when I was a child were my grandmother making me stand against a wall and hold water bottles to correct my posture. She was that crazy. Not the loving grandmother that just died, the super critical one. So yeah, let's talk clothing brands. All right, let's see. How would I do a launch strategy for a clothing brand? Oh, this is what you do. You have different items that you only have a finite number of. Thank you, Andy. Andy just complimented my sacrifice of my childhood for the sake of my grandmother's aspirations for my modeling career. I'm glad to know the sacrifice was not in vain. Okay, so let's see. With a clothing brand, what you're going to do is have a finite number. So for example, if you go to certain stores in the US, you will notice that they only have 2 of any given item in a certain size. So I did a test once. I was like going through this phase where, okay, so software engineers in Silicon Valley, one of the things like, I don't know, this was about a decade ago, maybe more. We used to all wear black on black. And that was like our cool signal that like we worked in the tech world. So obviously I needed the black jeans because I wanted to blend with all the cool people that I was friends with. So I had to go to like 15 different Marshall stores in order to get these black jeans because they only put one out in each size. And then once that one is purchased, the next day they'll put one more out. So I had to go to like all these different stores because they only put one of that quantity out. So that's one tactic that, okay, Andy said something about a new restaurant thing. Let me get into that after I answer Virginia's question about the fashion. So that's one tactic. The other tactic is you have, this is another one that works well. With fashion, with clothing, you have a supply chain. So you're ordering that inventory, it's coming from usually a different country if you want your profit margin to stay healthy. And by the time it gets here 6 to 12 weeks later, excuse me, you don't know how fast it's going to sell out. So you don't know if you need 200 units or 1,000 units. So with that, you can say, look, we only have 200 units of this new super cool hoodie. Take it or leave it. And then you have a countdown of inventory. Like we have a new hoodie coming out, pre-order it now. So you do the pre-order campaign. That allows you to know like how much you should order for coming from your supplier. Then once it hits the shelves, you say, we've already sold this many units. We only have this many left. And then you just have the countdown of inventory. Okay, so that's the fashion brand. Next. Andy, what do you mean you're pivoting to GHL? What is GHL? Go high level CRM automation. Oh, okay, got it. And then you also said if you put the PDF, okay, so it's like ClickFunnels. All right, yeah. Okay, so put the PDF and you don't collect the email. Which one is more important? Can you do both collecting email and then have another PDF on the website to increase session time? Hi, Owen. How are you? Okay. I'm guessing that you're writing on Telegram because you're also in here. Oh, we've hit our hour. Okay, so Owen's typing something, maybe a question. I haven't used Molo in ages. Yeah, okay. I don't feel unloved at all. Kidding. Okay. Um, how do I do a crying emoji? Where do I put the? There we go. I found a crying emoji. Okay, this is a fair question. Okay, first let me answer Andy's question and then I'll answer Owen's question. Okay. Can you do both collecting email and then have another PDF in the website to increase session time? So here's the thing. Let's go back to the top of funnel. You told people, hey, come here and you're going to get a cheeseburger. And then you get here and they get the cheeseburger. And then when they're there, you say, oh, would you like a milkshake with that? You have to double sell them. So you don't want to give them a free PDF. You don't want to say, hey, come here to get my free guide or book or mini course or whatever. And then once they're there, you say to them, oh, now that you're here, do you want something else? You're going to have to like creating marketing content and thinking of exactly which marketing content is going to get them excited, and then thinking of exactly which psychological triggers to get them to agree that they just want that marketing content to begin with. That takes a lot of time. And you just doubled your workload by saying, I'll give you a free PDF, and then you put in your email to get another PDF. The only way I could see that making logical sense would be if you give them a free checklist and you say, by the way, we have a webinar coming up where we're going to answer your questions, or live Q&A coming up where we're going to answer your questions about this checklist. And then you kind of lead into that, put your email in to get a notification when it's live. That's, you could do it a 1-2 punch that way, but I would not do a double PDF. Okay, Owen is asking, is it available for AppSumo users as well? I forgot the use case. Owen, you're breaking my heart. Okay, fine. Let's go back to Molo9. Molo9 is a marketing brain. How did it start? Someone asked for my marketing playbooks. I sold them online. Then people who saw the marketing playbooks said, do I have to implement this part or can I skip it to meet my goal? So then I built the marketing brain. The marketing brain is what you can buy in the AppSumo deal. Now, the marketing brain basically filters all of the tactics and strategies out there to say, hey, I got you. This is what you need to implement in order to see results. That's it. So think of your best friend who understands math or chemistry better than you do. You walk in, you're like, oh, shoot, there's an exam. And they're like, here's your cheat sheet. Just memorize these formulas. You'll be good for the exam. That's basically what the Molo9 marketing brain is. It's the condensed cheat sheet. It calculates for you and it gives you just what you need. Now, some of you bought the AppSumo deal and you're like, oh, so I don't have a company yet. I have an idea that I want to turn into a company. So that's when we created the entire startup marketing toolkit, which walks you through not only how to get paying customers for your company, but how to continue to iterate and hash out and flush out and refine your idea and your offer as you bring it to more and more people. Because what the earliest buyers bought from you is usually not what later buyers want to buy from you. So you have the Molo9 marketing brain is essentially it's giving you the cheat sheet to get the A on the test. And then that's what the AppSumo deal is. Then we created something else for everyone else. Andy, do you have that coupon code on you? We have a Black Friday deal coming up because that other thing that we built is not part of the AppSumo deal. I did have to pay people to create that. So where is it? We have a Black Friday deal coming up for you to get that if you don't have it already. And I gave you guys the code early so that if you wanted to buy it before I announce it on Black Friday, you can. It's somewhere in here. $297 again, please. Okay, sorry. Andy, I don't know where the code is. Do you know where it is? Oh, okay, yes. Black Friday 24. Okay, I will drop this into the Telegram group. And then what you do is if you buy that entire marketing toolkit with a separate account, then we can just merge the two accounts for you, because technically you're not supposed to, like, once you buy the AppSumo deal, like, you have different offers that you're supposed to be getting. This is not one of them. This is for new customers, but you can buy it and then merge the two later. And if my board members get mad at me for admitting you can do that, I am blaming you guys for being really nice and just baiting me into giving you something nice. I'm kidding. All right. So, any other questions? We have now been going for an hour and 10 minutes. I'm an introvert, so that is a lot of talking for me. So, any other questions from you guys, or could we hop off? Oh, wait, last thing. Okay, so we did up to chapter 6. Now we are going to, the goal was every time we meet, Andy, go ahead, put your question in Telegram. The goal was every time we meet, you're supposed to do one more thing to get you closer to launching your startup. So that's why we did chapters 1 through 3 because there was not a lot of implementation in there. So you just had to put together a squeeze page. Then we did chapters 4, 5, and 6 because there was, again, a lot of theory, not a lot of implementation. You're supposed to send out your survey now, and in 2 weeks, we're going to discuss chapter 7 because chapter 7 is actually, it has some things in there for you to implement. And then any questions you guys have on chapter 7, I will answer 2 weeks from now. So chapter 7 in 2 weeks, chapter 8 a few weeks after that. What advice would you give if you want to sell high-ticket custom build CRM solution? Okay, here's Andy's question. For $10,000 setup and $500 a month for support and maintenance. Does that sound too crazy? Any good strategies to make this happen? Oh, okay, if you're wanting to get people to shell out 10 grand, you're gonna need to have use cases. You're going to need to explain why you've done this for people in the past and the results that it's gotten for them. If you're selling something around 10 grand, your target that's going to shell out that kind of money for something like this is going to be medium-sized businesses. So their revenue is 5 to 40 million. You might find some with revenue as low as 1 million that are willing to pay for that. But you need to look for people who, one, they believe that a CRM solution is what they need. 2, they have 10 grand around to invest in this type of thing. And what was the other one? Yeah, so I've heard of some agency owners who are able to sell 5,000 setup to plumbers electricians, etc. Yeah. Let me show you this chart. Okay, so it's let me see this. Uh, Setup fee, retainer, revenue share. So they'll do a $5,000 setup fee, $5,000 monthly retainer, 5% revenue share, or 8%, 10K, 10K, 10%. There is a company that will help you do that. That's literally what they do is they help businesses, they help marketing agencies to come up with their offer. Where is it? They do the scripting, they do the cold outreach for you. The company needs between 1 million and 50 million that they target. And then to work with them, it's $3,000 setup fee, $3,000 per month, 3% revenue share. And what they found is you have to be super specific about your niche, your vertical, and your offer. So you don't want to come in and say, hey, I could do any marketing thing you need, because what their concern is anytime you have a marketing problem, you're going to be looking for like, oh, I'll charge you this and I'll charge you that. And it kind of makes them nervous. Whereas if you say, hey, I only specialize in doing this one thing, then they feel like there's a cap on how much they can expect to have to pay you every time they see you. Hold on, there's 2 more books. Where are they? Oh. Three. Okay, so there's 3 more books. Successful Micro Agency. This helps you to find the niche that you like. 7-Figure Agency Roadmap. This again helps you to like package your offer and then bring it to people. How to Build a Kick-Ass Advertising Agency. This is another one that's really good. That helps you, package everything. Okay, so that you can sell to others. Okay, next I have exciting news for you guys. There is a document it's a playbook I've been working on for several months. A lot of people who are like 10 to 50 years older than me, actually, 50 years older than me, have tried to destroy me and blackmail me and do everything to get their hands on this playbook. And I just got an email now that I can share it with you guys. I'm going to share it with the Molo9 community via email today, and then it will be circulating worldwide. Remember that when I create a strategy, the value of it is in the first people to implement it. So those who implement it first will see the greatest results. So I'm going to send this to you. Do not sit on it. You want to implement it ASAP. Like, figure out how to get everything sorted, implement it by the end of this week, maybe start of next week. Because if you sit on it, you're not going to be the ones who see the 1000x results from it. So yeah, if those of you, Molo9 aged like fine wine. Thank you, Andy. Those of you who wondered why I looked frazzled and exhausted and like I've been beaten up over the past few months, it's because I've literally had people trying to destroy me to get their hands on this playbook. And usually I don't tell people when I'm working on a project until it launches, because they'll try to do everything they can to sabotage and destroy it. This one, I was stupid and I let people know about it beforehand. They spent months trying to destroy me and steal this from me, but I just got the email just now. I can finally publish it. My haters can do whatever they want now that they have the information, but I'm making sure that my lovers and my friends, you guys are getting it first. So I'm going to email it to you this afternoon. Enjoy, and I will see you guys back online.